Hello, and welcome to episode 33 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Abby, and I am your host. With me, as always, are Logan and Jordan. Logan, I know that you just got back, so tell us about your weekend in Flesh and Blood.
I just got back from an RTN of which I drafted the single worst uprising draft deck I've drafted so far. It was a pile of trash, and it was dumpstered accordingly. So we 1-2 pod 1, and then we then 2-1 to pod 2 after playing like a donkey in the first game. So breathe in, breathe out. But armories were good this week. Both of them were uprising draft. I 2-1 and 3-1, so I felt fine going in. And then, as per usual, friend of the show, Dagan, is seated to my right in every fucking RTN so far. Dagan has been on my right in pod 1 and passing to me, and we're, again, both in Dromai. And this time it was not a 10-person pod with 2 Dromai players. It was an 8-person pod with 3 Dromai players, and I was the short end of the Dromai stick.
Yikes.
It was bad. Like, we're playing a single Phoenix Flame in this deck to get to 30. Like,
oh boy,
Phoenix Flame greater than Bobble is basically where we were at. Because at least it can start a combat chain with Go Again, right? Like, that was its use case.
I guess. Mix an ash when you pitch it. Like,
yep. That's it. That's all it's doing. And then I drafted a really good Icelander deck in the second pod, and just made a bumblefuck idiot error that probably cost me the game. I'm 90% sure I can win from the position if I play correctly. And that hurt, and then won my next 2. It was great because in that draft I drafted like a Brother in Arms, a Fyendal's Fighting Spirit, red, a 5 Singes, and then played 3 5s.
Yay!
Just
oh yeah, love those Singes.
Yeah, they don't do shit. Like,
One you.
Oh,
AB. Okay, darn.
Yeah, I still play the Blues because they pitch and pinch. Yeah. You play them, but yeah, that's what I really got up to. I got one more bite at the apple for RTNs. More importantly, across the weekend, I increased my experience count. So still trying to find a way to sneak in on experience just in case I don't qualify by winning, which would be highly preferred. But
what do you need to qualify via experience?
I don't know. So it's
okay.
Last year it was the top 100 of inexperience of not qualified players.
Oh, that's really nice then.
But that was last year. I don't know. They haven't announced this year if it's the same thing. I don't think.
You wouldn't mean LSS is slow on releasing critical information.
Never.
Not
How
once.
dare you?
How dare I? So yeah, I've got, before the cutoff, I've got 2 more armories and 1 more RTN. So hopefully if I don't end up in the top 4 of the local RTN, I at least can get there on experience, because I would love to play nationals. But
sure. Are you in grind online events mode?
No.
Or
no.
Okay.
I just don't have time for that. The only online event I grind is Flakes event, and I lost horribly in the first round of the Instant Speed Challenge to Pat Smashgood of
sure,
Pat. Pat, good friend of us in the show, and he was a 5 mirror. Turns out the person that draws their Art of War and Spreading Flames wins.
Is that a good combo?
Yes, unequivocally. Yep, fucking great. And got me good. I drew no Art of Wars and no Spreading Flames, so compared to his 2 and 3, I think. So yeah, we're not winning that one. But I'm debating on if I'm switching decks for this week and try something different, or if I'm sticking with Fi. We'll figure that out later. But yep, that's what I've been up to. Jordan, what do you got?
Played did a little bit of testing this week. Played Fi in those games against Icelander, actually. And that feels like a good matchup for the 5 players. So that was kind of fun to be in the Fi seat. There was one game that went south pretty quickly where they had 2 Channel fridges that they were able to keep around for 2 turns, and then played the third one as the follow up, and that was like the game I lost or whatever in our 3 or 4 game set. But Outside of like channel like hypothermia chains, it feels like a good matchup. So that was kind of fun to like play and figure out. I did a draft on Thursday, I want to say is when I went up to be on the board and did a draft. There were only 5 of us that showed up. It was like a guy had a box.
Oh,
Okay.
And so it wasn't
it was like
organized thing, really. It was
no. It was like, hey, I own a box. Like, I want to draft it. So we thought we had 6. The 6th person forgot, so we drafted with 5.
Was the 6th person Abby?
No.
Okay.
No. So Abby was working late or had a work dinner or something.
Yeah, I had a work dinner.
The draft was fun because we were all kind of memeing about a 5-person draft is sort of ridiculous. Like in concepts, but it was definitely fun. Like the people I played with were great. I played with 4 crack baubles in my deck. Because I tried to be Icelander because I was getting past really late, like blue ice cards that like
do things,
did Icelander things. But I also got a lot of good 5 cards, like late rise from the Ash reds and yellows. So it was just a weird pod, and everybody's decks were fine. Like everybody's decks were functional. But it was just sort of silly. So I 1-2'd.
Well, with
that.
4 baubles, sure.
Right. It really punished me, and it was funny because I had my last Icelander opponent down to no cards in their deck. They had 4 cards in hand, and all I had were like 2. I had 2 baubles and 2 like bad cards. So it was like, oh, I should win this if these were real cards, But darn,
Well, if you have AB and you don't die to it,
I only had 1 AB.
I mean, you can just keep pitching baubles and attacking with sword. They eventually die.
So I was low enough that they could kill me on the 4-card hand. On their 4-card hand.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They played like a blue sift and then like killed me. And I was low enough that they could kill me through 1 AB. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which that was one of the things where like every hand you're gonna have a cracked bauble when you have 4 in your limited deck, So, but it was fun. Like, I'm sitting here like talking bad about a deck or whatever. I had a good time. It was weird because I could have played either Icelander with 4 crack baubles or Phi with 4 crack baubles. So I just played.
If you have Phi. 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the Cleveland Browns in 2022. Jacoby Brissett and whoever they get to back him up.
Yep.
Anyway, that's what we did Thursday. I did not get to play my Flakes League match, unfortunately. I had a work thing come up at the time it was scheduled for. My opponent was not North American time zones. So we scheduled it for like 1 p.m. Eastern. And like, cause I'm pretty flexible. I can usually accommodate like a wonky schedule, but like then something came up like 20 minutes before and I was like, damn it.
I will concede
so
you.
Yeah, so I scooped to him and then I dropped because I was like, if this happens again, I really don't want to impact someone else's negative experience, But that's what I did in Flesh and Blood. I played a lot more than I usually get to.
Which is great.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that I don't have any more Road to Nationals on the map. I'm kind of in this weird space where I'm very motivated to play Fab, but like I'm not sure what my schedule is going to look like next month going forward. So I'm a little with some life stuff. So I'm a little like, what do I do with my what do I do with my hands?
what do I do with my hands?
Yeah. What about you?
I did not do any Flesh and Blood stuff this weekend. So Jordan and I had after like 6 weeks of nonstop stuff, we had what we call a classic Jordan and Abby weekend where we do basically nothing. And it's
the best.
Everything I ever wanted. I didn't get to go. Well, I wasn't invited to play on Thursday, but I had a work dinner, so I could not have gone anyways. Yeah.
You never get invited to drafts. I don't get it. Like, why does Jordan let that happen?
It's honestly,
to be clear, she told me she had a work dinner, and then I accepted the invite to the draft. I had declined the invite to the draft, and then she said, "Hey, I have a work dinner," and I said, "I will now accept your invite to the draft."
Yeah, I actually. So we had a guy I work with was in town. I didn't know he was coming in until the day before because he forgot to tell me. And then on Thursday at like noon, when my coworkers was like, "So are you coming to dinner tonight?" And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he was like, "Yeah, we're taking him out to dinner." And I go, oh, "Okay, great. Thanks for the notice on that." So then I text Jordan and I'm like, "I won't be home. I guess I have to go to this work dinner."
Yeah.
Great. Loved every second of it. But yeah, no Flesh and Blood this week. It was
We saw Keith from the Realm.
We did see Keith. That's true. That's true.
I was very jealous of you seeing Keith from the Realm.
We went up and bought the booster packs for our patron thank you bags.
Yep.
Actually,
there we go.
Yeah, it was nice to see him, and kind of a spontaneous midnight on a Friday. We're driving back from Mansfield because my life is pain. And
how many times did you have
done
to stop?
that drive? So
yeah, how many times?
None, unfortunately. None.
Abby was asleep in the passenger seat.
No, we stopped once. We had to get gas.
I did. We had to get gas.
Okay, well that's an acceptable
I poorly planned gas. Yeah, that's on me. I actually don't let Abby sleep when she's a co-pilot.
No, it's awful.
It's just us in the car. I keep her up because I'll fall asleep if I'm just the sole co-pilot.
Mind you, he used to drive to tournaments by himself. But
yeah, but he's older now.
Yeah, I'm cooked now, man.
Wash.
That's the thing.
Wash, yeah.
I wouldn't mind these long car rides if I could sleep 2 or 3 hours of the car ride. But I mean, 5 minutes after I fall asleep, he's like, "Hey, wake up."
I need somebody to talk to.
What a dick.
I get bored now.
Yeah, he's not nice.
Oh my god.
I get bored in my old age.
What the fuck?
All right.
Why do you gotta be like that, Jordan?
And it's also to wake her up to listen to a podcast where how positive she starts talking to me.
Yes.
So it's it's the complete worst, man.
You are Abby, I want you to know you deserve that possum.
I know.
And Americans deserve free healthcare. Name 2 things that we aren't getting. But here we go.
Holy shit.
All right.
How about my central air fix? Can I get my central air fixed?
Oh, is your ACL right now? Ew.
Yeah, we have a window unit in our sleeping area though, so we don't die when we're sleeping.
That's good.
And then it's getting low enough at night, the last few nights, but it's supposed to be 101 on Tuesday. I'm I need this fixed.
You want to hear some real bullshit?
Oh, of course I do. I love real bullshit.
This is what happened. Okay, so this is super off topic, but I don't ever get to do this, so I'm going to go. So I've wanted a hammock for 3 years. Basically, since Jordan and I bought the house. I'm I want a hammock, but they're so expensive because we don't have trees, so I have to buy the stand with it.
Oh, okay, fine.
So it's the cheapest I could ever find it was $160 plus. And if I'm going to spend that much money, I think about it very long. Anything over $20.
Quick injection. I have never once stood in the way of Abby getting this. She's just done this herself for the last 3 years. Every year, it's I'm going to get a hammock. I'm buy one. It's maybe. And then I don't hear about it until next year.
Anytime I spend over $40, I have to sit and think about it and make sure
this costs as much as the hammock that you're talking about.
Okay, but hold on.
For audio people, he's holding up a
transformer.
Figure,
yeah, a Ninja Robot transformer. This thing.
Okay.
Buy your fucking
Abby
hammock.
does not have the impulse buy that you and I do, though.
Hold on. I bought a hammock. So I got one for $80. It was a Prime Day deal. Super excited. It gets here on Friday. I set it up. I'm so excited to use it.
It's very
nice. And then
nice.
It rains all fucking weekend. And I can't use it.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Do you know how mad I am?
Yes, because you're going to be F-bombs on the podcast, which you never fucking do.
I know. Literally all weekend I've told Jordan, all I want to do is go sit in this stupid hammock and I can't. And I'm so mad about it.
I mean, you just get rained on a little bit if you do.
It was pouring.
Oh, it was torrential downpour here today.
6-1
yesterday. But yeah, no, I felt pretty bad because she was all right, all morning tomorrow I'm going to be in the hammock just to let you know. And I was okay, yeah, great. And then I wake up and it's just a torrential downpour. And it hasn't stopped since yesterday. It's
Jesus Christ.
No,
I feel really bad.
Get fucked, nerd.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. Okay, let's get into it now that I have taken us so far off course.
Perfect.
All right, news for the week. Not sure if you guys heard, but TCG Player brought ChannelFireball. No big deal.
Nope. Yeah, NBD.
Yeah, horizontal integration. That's fine. Move along.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
This is big. This is the potential to be big.
So ideally, it would kind of combine the better parts of the TCG Player marketplace with Binder POS's technology and CFB's event side. But knowing these companies and how much they believe in themselves, it'll be CFB's marketplace and integration side, and then TCG Player running events. Now, Jordan, you remember TCG Player running events.
I do. I'm old enough to remember that. Yeah, for you children that do not know. Oh, God. Oh God.
You played in these events, and you gained points. Now, you would think these points would be kept track of in like a logical way, like a computer system,
Like a
or
spreadsheet or
fucking
something,
something, anything that would be referenceable for a leaderboard. No, you were handed tokens, physical cards with a point value on them. And then you turned these points in at the Invitational for entry and buys.
Yep.
So once I found out that these were basically the original NFTs before NFTs existed, I went and ground the fuck out of these until I had my 2 buys, then kept grinding and selling points.
Yep, that was what you did.
Like,
you could trade the cards, you could sell them. They were completely untraceable too. Literally NFTs.
Yep.
Like they weren't tied to you as the winning the event. You got handed them from a massive stack that the guy pulled out from under the table, and like he just handed you some.
Like,
and
200 points sounds good.
Yeah, imagine if like for every win at a Flesh and Blood event, you get handed 3 XP tokens. And that's
yes,
what
it's that.
You know, like it's bananas.
And you have to keep them. Like, if you don't keep them, you can't use them. Like,
you lose them. Yeah, they're trash. Like if you don't bring them to the event, there's no like, dude, trust me, here's a picture of 1,000 points. No. Like, you needed the physical cards. Now this was before everything was digitized in the world, but like it was still late enough that like
Excel existed.
This is 2010, right? Yeah.
This was 2012.
2012. Yeah, so definitely like we're post Twitter age at that point. Like, you know, like let's digitize this. I mean, it was miserable, and they ran different levels of events that like gave different varies points, but no store that
Diamond,
ran an event
platinum, gold, silver.
There was a bronze event too. I know that for sure.
Fuck.
Were the winners the only one that got points? Yeah, I played in a pre-release that was a TCG Player bronze event once.
So diamonds
we
were
had
10Ks.
Yeah. Yes.
Platinums were 5Ks. Golds were 1Ks.
Something like that.
And then silvers and bronzes didn't have a cash prize attached to them specifically, if I remember.
They were just like different point values, and the kits cost different, like more money.
Dollar amounts for the stores, and
this is back when kits cost stores money. By the way, like a lot of newbies will probably think like LGS has always got their kits for free because like LSS is great. Yeah, so no, you used to pay TCG Player for the kit.
And so before Abby accused us of being off track, let's circle around. CFB does a much better job with that part of this than fucking TCG Player ever did.
Yeah. So a good frame of reference, just to close the loop on that. When you play at a Grand Prix or a calling and you get prize wall tickets, imagine those as your entry points into the next event. That's what these literally you get prize wall tickets from ChannelFireball. They're good for that event. That's what TCG Player points were. They were like a physical card that had a point value. They were miserable. ChannelFireball now runs the best events.
Yeah.
Well,
only because Legion doesn't, honestly.
Yeah.
But so I really hope that, like, for integration's sake, they do take the best parts of each company when they integrate. I do know that there's a lot of concern with vendors because of how much more TCG Player fees are in relation to the CFB marketplace. So there's a whole bunch of concern there. And, you know, like, as consumers, horizontal integration has not always been kind to us. However, it's still a marketplace. It still has independent vendors that are on the marketplace, you know, selling their wares. So that part isn't going to change. I just hope that it's like full integration with Binder POS, which is a great inventory management system when compared to Crystal Commerce, which I have seen people just stroke out looking at Crystal Commerce. So, like, let's call it what it is and say, don't ever do that. So I really hope that that's what happens, that that the integration across the board ends up being the best of each company. You don't necessarily, we won't know what this means for a while.
Right.
But I also think that we have a distinct possibility, considering that TCG Player is an East Coast company, to maybe get some better integration cross-country of events too.
Hopefully,
that's a thing.
This is just a net positive for consumers, because I don't think of ChannelFireball's marketplace and TCG Player's marketplace as competitors as a consumer. I don't go to ChannelFireball's marketplace. I don't think to. I know other people that I've talked to that don't. They knew that ChannelFireball had a marketplace, but like had to be reminded, you know. And so I think TCG Player won that one. The content creation side of ChannelFireball is better than TCG Players.
A mile.
The concerning thing there is, does ChannelFireball become a card pushing article writing thing like TCG Player has been accused of,
and like SCG is at times.
Yeah.
Or
Non-premium
was at times
SCG was that
prior to when they actually had writers.
But
when you say I actually use both marketplaces, because there is sometimes like a market difference between the two, and
Gotcha.
but it's the seamlessness, the interface for Card Shop Live / Binder POS is much cleaner, and in my mind, and a little bit easier to just kind of navigate through. It's not quite as frustrating. Like TCG Players, every now and again, it just suddenly takes you out of your cart and back to like the main page, and you're like, why
am I here?
This is not where I want to click to. And then also like your shipping options are a lot clearer to me in Card Shop Live, but that's kind of a minor gripe.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I do think TCG Player's shipping options for fab products are bad.
Agreed.
They don't have like TCG Player Direct, like their subscription service was very good when I was like a Magic buyer, but it's not good as like a Flesh and Blood buyer because they don't have
it.
Like Direct doesn't work with it, right?
And I don't. And Direct might die from this too. So
yeah, maybe that's possible too. And then so like we said, tournament style. I don't think the tournament. I really hope the TCG Player doesn't break down the tournament center into parts, and then
I hope not.
I have to imagine they'll use the organized play system.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that the CFB event side stays up and running the way it is. I do. I mean, like nothing's perfect, right? There's nothing I can think of literally outside of when Legion ran events, where there isn't something to just go, this could definitely be better, and here's kind of how.
Right.
Whether it's a logistics thing or a technology thing or an implementation thing, whatever it is. But at that point in time, I really also feel like ChannelFireball learns, they react. They're not necessarily proactive, but they do at least react.
They definitely do react, and that's definitely true. And it looks like TCG Player is looking to get into the comic book and sports card industries, which we talked a little bit about in our Discord. That is a tall order.
Mm-hmm.
The sports market hobby is, I don't know how you get into it, especially since eBay is investing millions into that industry, and I have to imagine that eBay has deeper pockets than TCG Player. So good luck. Maybe that's just a marketing thing they're saying to their investors to get them hype. That's very possible. But good luck if you're going to get into that.
PSA and Beckett have had a stranglehold on sports cards forever. CGC has been trying to get a little piece, but it's been a tough road to hoe because their standards are just higher, and sometimes that turns people off. Right, like it's very, very hard to get a CGC 10, whereas a PSA 10, I could grade Jordan to be a PSA 10.
Right.
So
the company that matters when it comes to grading, right?
Yeah. And so that's kind of been CGC. The CGC has been very reticent to sacrifice any of their quality metrics. Like they're just like, fine, whatever. We're the premium service, I guess. Who cares? Although their labels are hideous, that has to change. They're really bad. I don't know if you've seen them before, but they're god awful. I'll show them to you after the podcast. I have some.
Okay, cool. I would like to see a content arm like Star City of old. I don't know if that's there anymore, like a good freemium website.
I don't know if the desire's there.
Yeah, like YouTube is just better now because kids would rather watch a video. I say kids, I don't mean that pejoratively. Like people would rather watch a video.
Well, and all of us,
which isn't me, but
and all of us other content creators have just found other niches to work in.
Right.
So do I really need to write for one of these? I mean, there are other outlets. But some people like to write, and I don't begrudge them that. I like to read. So I also like to write, but I think my writing's bad. Then I just end up deleting everything. So whatever. But
you're not a real writer until you throw a perfect draft in the trash can. So I think you're on the right track, actually.
I probably have thrown several.
That's the dream, actually.
Fantastic. I'm glad to fucking learn that.
Yeah. So, so I say this as a guy that wrote for Magic for years, and that I like the writing part of it. I like being able to go back and look at Patrick Chapin's articles, and and go like, these were foundational to the TCG world.
Mhm.
Who's the Beatdown is like the best TCG
Forrest,
article
yep.
of all time, right? Like, and I don't think this is just old man yelling at cloud now, so we're off here. But I don't know if like YouTube content or podcast content captures that same essence that like that article did. And again, old man yelling at cloud probably, but like you could show somebody who's the Beatdown now and instantly make them a better card player.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I don't know of a YouTube video that I would do that with.
No. And maybe if you go yell at those fucking clouds, Abby can lay in her hammock. You ever thought about that?
That's right. Yeah, why didn't you do that this weekend?
What a dick.
It was raining. I didn't want to go wet.
Disrespectful. All right. We have a new back alley oracle, number 8, that explains ELO ranking.
I only put this in here to just say, if you are confused about how ELO works or why your ELO goes down if you have a winning record at a tournament, this article will attempt to explain it.
Loosely explain it. If you're not a math person, ignore the numbers and read the words.
Yes.
There is an FAQ at the bottom that is designed for you. If you are a math or like math interested person, the formula is in here.
It checks out.
Yeah, it's an ELO formula.
Yeah, they've been around for 200 years.
Yeah, like we've used it for different games before, but we're checking out if this is a thing that you're interested in. I know I found it interesting to see how Fab uses ELO, because I'm interested in it from like a chess history perspective. So.
Yep. In
Fastest
other
segment
news,
ever.
LSS shredded the remaining 39 gold foil spring tunics and blew up everything.
I love how the most toxic segment of the Flesh and Blood community is actually the Magic community.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Just for some perspective real quick, I saw that shortly after this video there was a sale of one of these, unconfirmed, but for $20,000.
Like one of the shredded ones?
Of one of the like the real ones.
Okay, sure.
Someone says that someone on Twitter said that they had an authorized, this is unconfirmed, but they knew of the sale for 20 grand. So 20 grand times 39, that's $780,000 worth of cards.
Or it's actual cardboard with printing on it.
Yes.
And
or it's worth $100 maximum. Yeah.
Maximum.
No, there is definitely opportunity cost for LSS. Like they could have and this is what's cool about this, right? Like their commitment to the community is they could have back alley dealt these to the secondary market.
But they promised to get rid of them, and they were completely transparent.
Yeah, like, hey, we said we're getting rid of these, we're doing it. If you're mad about this, every company that's ever had a limited time collectible has done this.
And if you're mad about this, like,
you weren't going to own it anyway.
We're going to get one. What the fuck are you mad about?
Like, LSS was going to be like, oh shit, you're right. Here's one friend,
Yep.
Christ. No, like, and this is a promise they made, a promise they kept. And it was funny because, like, it was actually the Magic players that were just like, I can't believe a company would do this. Who would shred $700,000 worth of stuff? And it was like, point of information. You do realize that the 1996 World Champion card, which there's only one of, actually had six printed, and the other 5 were destroyed by
they
WotC.
destroyed them. Yeah, WotC's absolutely shredded product before.
Yeah, this is nothing new.
I'm fortunate to be friends with Magic people that are they're reasonable, and they just like pinged me in a Discord. We're like, hey, could you explain this to me? Like, it looks like they're just taunting their players. And I was like, oh, well, then you just don't understand, because like you read a tweet by a prolific Magic player who also didn't understand,
which is pretty common.
Like, right, Magic players not knowing the fuck they're talking about, and tales all this time. Whether it's testing a deck or watching a game, they don't know. So, like, these were trophies for Grand Prix. They were designed for calling victories. They were only supposed to give out X amount. They gave out the X amount, and they're moving on to a new trophy. So what do you do with this thing to preserve collectability? You make it so there's less of them. And you don't just... What's LSS supposed to do? Stick these in a warehouse? That's the same thing.
Well, I think the bigger point here is that they showed a video of them shredding them so that we know they shredded them.
Right.
It's just it's pure transparency. It wasn't to taunt anybody. It was, guys, we're community, friends, people, everyone.
Yep.
We are done giving these out. Here's the proof that we're giving no more out. Machine go burr.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And my friends were very receptive of that once I explained it. They went, oh, okay. Like, that's definitely strange because, like, WotC doesn't do that from their perspective. So this is new and unique, but that makes sense, right? And that's how you want people to understand it. And I think most people, once they know that context or get it, but Magic also has a problem with people flipping it and ripping it. And, like, that's bananas to me too. So yeah, like for your audio friends, Logan's pointing at himself. I love flip it or rip it. LSS just did flip it or rip it speedrun any percent. Like,
it was 100%.
Yeah. My ultimate take, I think we hit is these weren't ever going to be anyone's.
No.
So they weren't going to be yours. They weren't going to be mine. They weren't going to be they weren't going to be anybody's.
No.
They were either going to sit in a shoebox at LSS's headquarters, or they were going to get shredded. And to prove it, they shredded them and showed us. And I would rather that than, hey, trust us, guys. We didn't sell these to our friend who will sell them, and we'll make a cut. I like that.
They should send the scraps to a cosplayer who can then weave them into a spring tunic cosplay, though.
I saw a lot of people asking for that. I think like Carolina was asking for that, and like that was cool. That was cool.
I'm like, okay, well, that would be awesome. So please do that, I guess.
This is the best publicity I think Flesh and Blood's ever gotten.
I don't know about ever, but it's close. It's MetaZoo levels.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I was just like mad at ignorance for a day, and
I didn't get mad. I'm just like, well, this tracks.
It is very historically accurate, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Abby's very excited.
So I was very excited. I already talked about it. Okay. We're going to go over, there's an article that we'll link that goes over the metagame for the Road to Nationals up through last week. However, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and then we're going to come back. I need everybody to know there was an Azalea in top 8 at a tournament.
But didn't win. That's important.
No. But it made top 8
points still. There's been Azaleas in the top 8 before. This isn't first.
Yeah, but when was the last time?
Last season.
Really?
Season.
I don't remember seeing them at all on any of the...
Yeah, there were several.
I do not remember.
Because everybody was like, there was Levia Azalea watches on Twitter every fucking weekend. And be like, top 4 Azalea, baby! And
I don't remember Azalea in that at all. I remember all the Levia big watches.
Did Azalea win their match? Like, did they get a Road to Nationals invite with the top 4?
No.
It doesn't say, does
it?
It only has victory conversion, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, it is important that I really hope Azalea gets that point sometime soon, because she looks real lonely at the bottom, especially because Phi and Dromai, and I think even... I don't know if Icelander won one, but I think Phi and Dromai both did.
Icelander did win one.
Okay, so...
Won 2. Excuse me.
So that all the new heroes are off to Schneid in week 1 or whatever, and she's been here since the second set going, I don't have a weapon. Please help.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know what to do about her, but there's some good cosplays of her. Chalice does a good cosplay.
Yeah, there's some real good ones, yeah.
Yeah, but
it's a dope looking character.
Bad. Right, I just wish it had text.
Card art. Yeah, just send me text. Text is good on cards, I heard.
Maybe.
Yeah, they need a legendary Azalea specialization equipment, which is, I saw, maybe it was Az that put this out there, that was a quiver that is arms that whenever you block with an arrow, it then goes underneath the quiver, and then you can load arrows from the quiver.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So that, you block with your arrows, and then you can actually use them again, so that when you're down to 1-card hands, they actually can still do something.
I wonder if there's like a talent they can make for talentless heroes. Like a plain keyword where talentless heroes can't use this card. Because like if they made that card, I would just go, oh, Lexi should just play that.
No, it'd be Azalea specialization.
Oh, Azalea. Okay. So I guess specialization is what I'm thinking of anyway. Just even more narrow.
You would just make it an Azalea piece only. Like that's about the only way you could do it.
That's fair. Because any Ranger card is going to make Lexi better too, right? So
yeah, it'd have to be a specialization of Azaleas, because they just have to push her one time. I don't know.
It looks like the death of Viscerai was greatly over exaggerated.
Yes. Yeah, so top 3 in the overall metagame, Briar was at the top, and then Phi, and then Prism. But when you get into top 8, it was Briar, and then Phi, and then Viscerai.
Yep. So Viscerai couldn't close, specifically through the 5s, from my understanding. And so we have found, because we've been testing out a little bit for Lil, that, and not to spill too much tea with, actual sauce, but once it was figured out that Phi actually claps the living fuck out of Oldhim, that maybe we should start doing this and this alone.
Only quick correction corner, and this might just sound counterintuitive. Viscerai actually had the best top 8 to win percentage.
Oh, did it?
So yeah, they had a Viscerai won 11 of the past 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
They had a 11% win conversion and a 24% top 8 to win conversion, right? Yeah, okay, so once they actually had the highest top 8. They're the best deck in the format.
I will accept your correction corner as long as you accept the correction corner that mac and cheese pizza is fucking delicious and you're a goddamn sociopath.
I decline.
I've never had it.
Then I'm not being corrected. I think that.
Can I accept that I'm a literal sociopath and decline the rest?
I'll take.
Can I get a light item veto?
Yeah, half credit. Yeah.
Okay, deal.
We give half credit on corrections. But that's interesting. So Viscerai won 11, and then how many did Phi and Briar win?
Phi won 6.
Briar won 8.
Right. Yeah.
So Viscerai won the most.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Viscerai, and then Prism and Briar were tied to 8.
Interesting.
47% of Viscerai decks converted.
And then how many points is a RTN? 3?
That is a fun question that changes every season. So
feels like it does.
It definitely does now, right? Because they said based on the number of stores that are hosting. You guys can keep talking, and I will.
I think it's 3, but.
Up.
Because we're gonna
3 or 6? Because wasn't 6 the last ProQuest, wasn't it 6?
But I think that these are less.
These are less. These are 4.
4s. Okay, so you put Viscerai with 44 points. You put, and I think that wasn't Prism at like 850 and got 32. So that's 882.
Yeah. So Prism is 848 and got how many?
32. So we're at 880.
Yeah, 32, 80 on the dot.
And then Briar is at what right now?
558.
So another 32, so 590. Okay.
So 880 and 590. So so Prism could die this weekend because there is another 2 weeks to go.
Well,
I don't think so though.
No. They would need 120 points. And that would require 30 victories. And I don't even know if there's 30
I guess that's true. Duh.
Constructed that there's 30 CC Pro or RTNs. Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're probably, once we're through, maybe Lil, but definitely Nats and Worlds probably going to lose at least one of those. Well, probably Prism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So by Dynasty, we're probably losing Prism.
Yeah, so besides Lil, August is an off month because of
skirmish.
It's skirmish season. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, news and notes, skirmish season is in August.
Yeah, like we talked about it very briefly when the package got spoiled, I think, but like you'll sign up for your store skirmishes, man.
I guess, yeah. I'll play the local ones. I'm just probably not gonna travel for them because why would I? But
yeah, I think I'll play I think we're signed up for the one at Beyond the Board.
Yeah, for sure.
Sealed.
Oh, yeah, it's sealed locally here too. It's like, but sealed or blitz. Pick your poison.
I think I'd rather play sealed.
I don't know. I like both.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this sealed Uprising sealed is a little wonky.
I think I like the idea of just like opening lottery tickets as like.
I like scratchers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's what these are bar pull tabs.
Yeah, they're pull tabs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I roll bones. Let's go.
We're very lucky that we've never been at a bar that had pull tabs together.
God,
extraordinarily lucky.
All right.
Who do you got in the home run derby? I got J-Rod. I got Julio at 10-1. I've got Julio at 10-1.
Yeah, J-Rod is. I haven't actually taken anybody like officially, but J-Rod is my
Yep.
I pick.
I don't even know who's in it.
Also, there's a pretty good price on Jose.
Jose Ramirez is a strong candidate.
16-1.
I would pick him
Oh, that's
because
Pujols is 2001, so
team, but
An insult to Pool
it's
Halls,
a
to be
2-beer
honest.
show. Jordan, you're officially removed from that.
it is a 2-beer show.
All right.
Not yours
This beer
anymore.
got warm very
Right.
fast, so I'm gonna have to kind of pound it. But
Yay! And then a final reminder: the Content Creator Fantasy Draft. This is the last week you can sign up. That has to be in by what day, Jordan?
20.
Oh well. So this is the last full week. August 1st is, or July 31st is when we're like cutting off like people hard. Like
Okay.
I'm pairing people to creators July 31st. So this is the last full week that you'll get with a show.
How many do we have right now?
Yeah, I was about to pull that
Hold
up
on.
because
What do you mean it's the last? If the last day is the 31st, it's 2 weeks from today. Today's Sunday.
they're gonna It's 2
so
weeks
you
from
have
today
2
we're
full
recording.
weeks.
But not
So the
2 weeks from
7th.
Tuesday.
They're gonna
Right,
they're gonna
right.
hear it Tuesday. They have a full week, and then by the time they hear the 26th episode, they will have
okay,
less than a full
got
week.
it.
Sorry, it's a little bit of a. I said it in a way that doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
So-
But that's okay.
Time is a
Fair
flat
enough.
circle, friends.
Yeah, you have till
Um,
July 31st. We have the number of people that are 94.
Oh, we got
Only
we getting 3
3?
cents?
Yeah, listen, guys, I know
Fuck,
how many
come
people
on.
listen to this show, and it's way
3.
more than 94.
Guys,
3.
it's
So,
free
like-
stuff. What are we
Free
doing?
shit.
Go sign up for Abby and Logan.
Please.
Yeah.
I need the help. I'm
We-
trailing.
We have bragging to do, you know?
I understand that
Exactly.
there are more people that are more beautiful, more famous, more gregarious than me. But for fuck's sake, man.
Yeah, dude, like I'm trying to commission a league to help my friends win prizes, and you guys are fucking me, okay?
Right.
You fapper in your car.
Right in the goddamn ear.
You're fapping at work, you're gross.
You're fapping
I'm
at work
calling
and
HR.
yes, and like you're fapping at work and you're fucking my ear and I'm blowing an eardrum, so now we have a disability claim. Like you are causing mass problems. Just sign up for the fucking draft.
Just sign up for the
Yeah.
draft.
Why haven't
It's
you done
free.
it already?
It's fucking free.
You don't even have to do anything. Like I'll
Literal
just
nothing.
put you on a team with somebody,
It's a goddamn
and then like
spreadsheet.
they're
It's a
gonna
Google
win you
Doc.
prizes. It's an insult to humanity. You know,
It-
like when you look at the world and you're like global warming, domestic war, terrorism, people not signing up for the goddamn free fantasy draft, hunger. Those are the 5 things plaguing this country right now.
And
Clean
hunger.
water and Flint. Like Jesus,
Jesus Christ. Oops.
So
you know?
get in and get signed up for that. I'm gonna be very
That
disappointed
happens.
if we don't
Cheers.
have a
Oh.
jump. So you guys won't
And
like
if
it.
you don't like
I'm
the energy of this
disappointed.
show, sign the fuck up for the fucking
Yeah, if
fantasy
you think
draft.
I'm
Yeah.
the one being offensive comparing this to global war, you're the one that's offending me.
Because
by
we
not
wouldn't, have
signing
to
up.
we wouldn't have to compare
Yeah.
this to global war if you would have
Yeah.
just fucking signed up.
Like
Yeah, so
I was
just
talking to a
sign up
guy in Flint,
already.
Michigan, and he was like, "I would rather people sign up than me get clean water."
Okay,
That's
that-
what he said.
Mm.
That's what he said.
All right. So yeah, sign up, please. All right, let's move on.
Not walking it back, Logan.
Nope.
I'm not asking you to.
All
I
right.
get to look like the good guy for once. I'm going to let this float.
Exactly.
I don't think the standard buys. Wow, it's very moderate American of you.
All right. We have 6 listener questions this week. Seriously, go sign up for the fantasy draft. It's not.
Fuckers.
It'll take you 30 seconds, and you get free stuff. I don't know why we even have to convince you to do this, but just do it, and then
We let you fap for an hour every week. Fucking take the 30
Yeah.
seconds.
exactly.
God.
All right.
You can't tell we're mad about this. It's because we're mad about this.
Six listener questions. First one's from Alan. What D&D alignment is each Fab hero? This week we're on Arya.
Silvaria, yeah,
They're all good, so that's easy enough.
yeah.
They're basically a D&D party.
They literally are a D&D party.
So I've got Lexi at
Let's just
Chaotic
do-
good.
Yeah,
Anybody?
you got Lexi K. Good. I don't have a problem with that.
I got Briar at Lawful good because of the Warden part.
Yeah, so the
Warden-
Runeblade thing is interesting to me.
Well, they use
I think you're
Runeblade
right.
kind of as a generic placeholder for anybody that uses magic and swings sword.
It's
So-
like their spellcaster type
yeah.
of deal.
And then Oldham is neutral good. We do
That's fine.
what needed to free big stupid people from Eisenloft. Yeah, that guy. He's
Yay.
Rainier Wolfcastle. Like,
All right.
Yeah, I think
Nope.
all of those are
Yeah.
all of those track. Till of Silvario is very like
Yeah.
cut and dried, baby.
nice people. Yeah,
Oh,
bang,
man.
bang, 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 bang. Next week is
Everfest, right?
Everfest.
Everfest, and we're done.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, we have... Oh, no, because we did Uprising, didn't we?
We did Uprising
Started with
first.
Uprising.
We started with Uprising. So, yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're done.
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go.
This was a cool question.
It
Alex.
was.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, been fun to do it over the last few weeks.
All right, question number 2 is from Chris. Is there anything, if any, that you would like added to the game in future sets that you think is missing?
Support for Azalea.
Yeah.
Um,
I would like to see support for existing heroes before adding new heroes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is tough to do in a set that like revolves in a game that revolves around like releasing new heroes. Like we are also the first to complain about let us draft more. So I get that. But reprint Azalea, you know, like reprint Azalea in a set
Make her
that
not
gives
shit.
us new
Yeah,
cards.
do
Yeah.
something. I don't know. I think that because the spirit of the question, I think, is obviously something mechanical.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, but the other parts of the question are actually interesting as well, like additionally. So, you know, as an example, added to the game, I would love to see adult versions of like the young only heroes, right? Like an adult Ira, an adult Kasai.
Oh, sure.
Benji will never be an adult. It's just he's a Toys R Us kid. An adult Data Doll, which wouldn't be an adult, it would be like an upgrade. I don't fucking know. But I think realistically, like mechanically, I think that they are in a weird spot with design space with the way the game is designed. You can't I don't think you can add another pitch value as an example. I don't think you can have 4 pitch, right? Maybe you can.
I don't think so.
I think it's hard because it changes a lot of the axes the game plays on. A different zone, like a phased zone or a temporary zone where something goes to and then, you know, for a turn and comes back, something along those lines is probably a fine design space. As long as you kind of just explore it carefully. Yeah, there's oddly enough, this game does a lot of things very, very right with the engine of the game. But I think that in a lot of ways they do paint themselves into a design space corner because they have the distinct possibility of straight up just fucking things up if they do something slightly off, like making a 4 pitch. Because all of a sudden Guardians just get to do the thing all the time. If it's generic at all or Guardian oriented. So yeah, I
don't know
about what they can do.
Yeah, I think it's very rare that you see a game early in its life like have a pretty good system. Now that does make me nervous from like a what design space is left perspective. I think we still have more room to go, and there's depth in the talents and different talents you can do and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
As far as things that are new, though, man, this is also why I'm not a game designer. It's because when this question gets asked and my head like turns off, you know. I wish like a block constructed would exist
as a format.
Yeah, like Welcome to Wraith constructed. We talked about that. This was a listener question last week or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Lone Road Ninja asked this. Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. How that's different from like sealed in this game, I really don't know. Like the power level is obviously higher, but
do know because they would be 60 card decks.
Yeah, right. The power level would be way higher. Do you think they would make it 60 card decks, or do you think they would do 40? They would do a blitz/commoner style. That's the one thing that I think they would do, that they like Classic Constructed being the only big dog format.
Yeah, I mean, to make
you run into the issue of like Fableds being like required too in some of those formats. Like I don't know, but
I guess
like,
the way I would set the format up is I would say you can use cards from the chosen block and one chosen supplemental set to kind of give it enough to get to 60 without being kind of too generic. But it's still like, I think there definitely needs to be another format, but we'll get Living Legend eventually. But we do, the game does need another competitive format, or at least it feels like it does to me. I also think that they really need to get to PvE sooner rather than later, because the game's growth with PvE is probably going to be excessive, and I'm going to just be ecstatic.
I agree with that they need to just do this PvE product, and the fact I think 2023 is too late.
I don't think it's too late,
now,
but I would like it earlier.
Sure, okay, sure. I guess that's more what I mean. Is like, I don't think with the current state of the game, there's such a thing as too late right now. But
No.
I would like to see it exist. I worry about like, I don't know. We have some questions coming up in a little bit that we got an email about building community, and a good way to do that would be via a PvE like environment.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Question number 3 is from Sleepy Jackal. When building a deck, how do you all approach sideboarding? Do you leave the full deck together and just pare down to 60? Or do you set aside some cards always and then add cards back in to get up to 60?
I'm closer to the latter than the former.
It's funny that you say that, because when I started this game, I was closer to the former than the latter, and now I'm definitely closer to the latter.
Yeah.
When I started, I was very much like, decks are cohesive 75 or 80 card units, and I'll just take ones that are bad in this matchup. And now I am definitely more, I have like a main juice plan, and now these are my sideboard bullets.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's right, actually. I think we might be behind as like a game in terms of like approaching that. Like that seems to be the de facto thing. Like you look at a FabDB list and it has sideboard cards. I think that might be wrong, but that's definitely what I do.
As a methodology, a more streamlined approach is typically preferable, because you're consuming in more bite-sized pieces, right? And whenever you're consuming in more bite-sized pieces, you're able to give critical thought to the pieces in general in shorter amounts of time, right? So if you're approaching things holistically and you're looking at a 74 card or whatever to get down to 60, that's kind of bad. If you're looking at 3 that you want for this matchup and then 3 that you need to come out, you have more time to linger on the 3.
Yeah, I guess.
But that's a project methodology brain approaching it, honestly.
No, sure. I think that comes down to time to process the data, though. And like 3 is really good if we're doing that at the table.
That's
before
what I
our
mean.
match, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but I think if you do it the 74 card way, you could do this before your tournament.
You can write out. I mean? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like, well, and that's probably what you should do. That's my point, is I think maybe like we build our deck with this like 80 card plan in mind, and then come in with the minus 15 cards that we're taking into for each matchup, because we've planned our deck to the meta we expect to see.
I sort of agree. I see where you're going, and it makes sense. But to me, because decks have the ability to shift so hard, like take Dash, for example. Dash can be boost or item control, and it's the same deck. Like it's the same it's the same. Yep. It's said the same 74 cards. Right. Prism can be fuck you 27 auras, or have some heralds, and you just kind of don't know which one it is. Katsu can switch between mid-range and aggro in the same sideboard. Those types of things, like if as tournaments go on, you scout a little bit, you see what other people have done in certain matchups, and then you have an idea of what it's going to be. So you'd have to have a list for each variation of what you think they might do, and I think that becomes difficult. Whereas if you just have, okay, if I think they're aggro, I know these cards are good, and so what do I think is going to not be as good? I'm not saying your approach is wrong. I'm trying to give a thought process to the other approach as well. Sure. And so, because I started in the former and I approached to the latter when I was like, okay. And a lot of that was actually seeing how Yuki Lee Bender approaches decks, because she'll have like 48 core cards, and then bring in 12, for matchups. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it's really pared down and very, very specific as to what you should be doing. And I think that approach is the most streamlined approach. And if I had half the brain to do that shit, I would be a national champion. But I don't. It is
national champion of arguably the strongest country in the game too.
Yeah. God, Canada is just a fucking beast. Shouts out to the Canadian Fab players. Jesus, y'all are good. But too many concussions have made it so that's not happening. I pretty much have a list of how I'm doing shit. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, so I just have my 60 and then I make my changes. I think I have to do it that way because that's how my brain's going to operate.
No, that's totally fair. And I think the the system that I think we're saying the same thing is good. It just comes down to how you approach that data solving problem and time.
Sure.
And like I think that if you can generally specifically plan for each thing, that's probably better. But at the same time, you're right that I recognize that like the time investment is probably much greater than like the average player has to invest. That the data processing at the table then it's harder to deviate from a plan when you've came in with a hard list. That was a thing that like Magic players kind of always shied away from sideboard guides for.
Yeah.
Was if I think my opponent is on like a sauce plan, like having some spice, then like my sideboard plan's probably dick. Yeah.
Not to trigger anybody, but to be more nimble or agile in your thinking. Sorry. You definitely don't want to have hard and fast rules. So
yes. Yeah. No, heuristics are great, but like they're not good for wholeness, completeness. This is a good question because like deck building theory is huge.
Fucking hard.
There's some good articles. It's very hard. There's some good articles by Patrick Chapin that people should consider Googling. They're in the Magic context, but he was one of the best deck builders of all time, and has a very good founding theory of like top down versus bottom up design in decks, and how he approaches like this question of, is my deck this 75 card unit or is it a 60 card unit that has 15 silver bullets?
Mm-hmm.
And like I wonder what Patrick would say in the context of Fab. That's really interesting.
I think that's interesting. I think maybe that's something to try to reach out and see if he would be interested in looking at. But
yeah, it's funny because we don't have any like, we have very good card players in the Flesh and Blood space, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any of our all-time greats yet because of how like young the pro scene is.
Mm.
So I mean, I'm sure they're in the scene. We just don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And also we don't have like the all-time content creators that Magic had in shares like Patrick Chapin, like Reed Duke, you know, like those guys that
Mike
could
Flores,
explain. Yeah, Mike Flores. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Like best of all time explainers as well as doers. And so it'll be fun to see Fab adapt to these things as we go.
All right. Question number 4 is from Held and Hammer. And it's... I lost it. If you could change the art on any one card, what card would it be and why? For me, it would be Cartilage Crush. Even though I do like the old school feel of the card, it feels kind of goofy, and I'd like to see it updated.
Actually, I just had this conversation at draft this week. Card for me is Insidious Chill. The idea, this is a thing in male games where women are just like naked, and it's sort of absurd. Like, why is this mage naked? Why? She's casting a spell to like protect her world from bad people. Why is she naked? Like, lady, put some clothes. Now's not the time. Like, you know, what it was, Emmanuel, please.
Emmanuel, no.
Yeah. So that's mine. I don't know. It's probably fine. I'm not a member of the class affected by this art, but like still, it's one of those things where I see it or I play a JRPG or something, and I'm like,
why?
What are you doing? How is that effective?
Yeah.
So it would be art that looks like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. I'm just like looking. I actually have a pile of cards that I picked for this. Like, Release the Tension. What the fuck even is it? Can somebody explain to me what's actually happening in the Release the Tension? It looks like a spire with some like gears.
Yeah, the gears wouldn't have the tension that like a drawstring would.
Right. 100 wins. I count like 5 wins. Like, that's not even close to 100 wins. It needs to look like something's getting blown to fucking like everywhere. Like,
the picture is cool. Like, I don't want to hurt like Jessica Smith.
No, the picture's very cool.
Yeah.
T-bone. I want to see that actually T-boning something. Not just a motorcycle celebrating.
Looks weird, right?
I just want to see, again, I just have a pile of cards. Most of them were Everfest. That's the weird part. And so I want to like stipulate really fast. The art in this game is incredible. Top down. Then there are some cards that are just so absolute fucking bangers. High Roller, no notes. You got a brute chucking dice on a fucking craps table. No notes.
Insane. 10 out of 10.
Life of the Party. No notes.
Corsham.
Yeah, Corsham is beautiful. Razor Reflex.
Oh my god. Banger.
With the reflection. Banger. Blood in her hands, all-time banger. What is it? The Cold Wave. Like,
oh yeah. We talked a lot about it. Snap. It's a wizard card that play it from your arsenal, draw a card. You can freeze a card in the arsenal. Snap. Cold Snap.
Yep, Cold Snap. That's it.
That took me a minute. Cold Snap.
Yeah, is that a Federico Musetti art?
It is.
He can do no wrong.
Oh no, it's not. It's
okay.
It's Winaneski.
Oh, it's Matus. Okay. Yes. Burnaway is Federico, and it's just
But this game has good art. Sometimes it's just paired with some weird shit. You know,
like Crippling Crush is a fucking fun. Is a banger. Showstopper is a banger. Almost all the Brute cards are, and while it's hideous, Bonehead Barrier is perfect in every way. Yes.
Oh, you know what I really like? Like Bravo, star of the show, that art captures the way that card feels.
It does, yeah.
It's this guy like stunting on you. He's showing off. Like he's like, look what I can do.
He expectorates
11 dominate if it hits you. Put 2 cards at the bottom of your library. Like it's very fun.
Shiana is just absolutely gorgeous.
Shiana's gorgeous.
Art of War is kind of a what the fuck.
Yeah. It's a cool art, but like again, like it doesn't match like what I picture the card doing.
My one that I would like to see redone is Demolition Crew. The art on that card is literally not like anything else in the set. It's just like every time I look at it, I'm just like, this doesn't belong.
What are they doing?
Belong.
No one really knows.
I don't know.
She's pouring some tea or something upside down, or putting some oil on something.
I think it's oil.
She's also elbowed this guy in the face.
Yeah,
but he's like happy about it.
Yeah, well, she's like got a big laugh on her, which hey, not trying to yuck no yums. But what are we doing?
But why aren't we like blowing something up and having like the A-team walking away from an exploding building or exploding?
Yeah, why do I have to reveal a card in my hand that's expensive? Like with this art, you know, everything in the art is
it doesn't make sense. But like it was like the concept I'm talking about. You have to reveal an expensive card because you're paying the A-team to do the work. So you know that would make some sense. Not on the card, but they're not on the card. That is definitely like a D-team.
Yeah.
Like
both of these characters have the potential to be cool. Like this very like League of Legends player was like we'll get this like Jinxie. I guess Dash. She's very dashy, like high energy, coming out of nowhere character.
I want like a mannequin type of character where they like are like an animated. Like a golem almost, but instead it's like it's very lithe and it does crazy shit, like Voldo almost from Soul Calibur.
Oh, sure, yeah, I like that. But no, yeah, this is a good one, Abby, because like, what the shit?
I know. I thought really hard about it.
Why the fuck?
It doesn't look like any other card in the game.
All right, any others?
I mean, I have an entire stack here. Like I could keep going, but I won't.
Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Question number 5 is from Keith. From the Realm, and it's if LSS approved a live action movie around the characters from Welcome to Wraith, what actors would you want to recruit to play which character? I have mine written down.
I'm snapping off Dave Bautista for Reinar.
Okay, that's good.
He was not on my list, but he was like in consideration. So for Reinar, I have Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Also fine.
Okay. What is the guy that played? It's not Merman.
Oh, Momoa.
Jason Momoa. I have him down for Bravos.
He's pretty good for Bravo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can. Yeah. Okay. I was actually thinking like one of the Hemsworths would be a good Bravo, but Momoa also would be very good as Bravo.
You know, it's funny. I'm an idiot. I just Googled famous blonde actresses for Dory, and RIP my search. I didn't do it in an incognito browser, so like,
good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Top 100.
Like, Anna Taylor-Joy for Dorinthia.
Interesting. Okay.
I have Emilia Clarke.
She's already kind of played it.
Scarlett Johansson. I see she might be a good Azalea figure.
I don't think she's that good for Azalea. I would have Florence Pugh as Azalea.
Maybe I just have
love
her in my head
Florence
as like
Pugh.
as a superhero, and that's like kind of what I'm locked on.
Yeah.
Why is Jessica Simpson on this list of like recent top 100
I
actresses?
don't know.
This is an IMDb list too. Like, what's the last movie she did?
Dukes of
My
Hazzard?
answer is Jessica Simpson.
Glad we got there.
Circa 2004, Jessica Simpson.
There you go.
Katsu. Who are we doing for Katsu?
So I have Henry Golding.
That's pretty good.
I was gonna make a joke about Matt Damon because that's what Hollywood loves to do is to typecast like the random white dude.
Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai.
Yeah. I mean, like if we weren't bound by like time, right?
What's the name of the character? What's the name of the actor that plays Han on Fast and the Furious? I can't remember his name now.
I don't know. I'm not a Fast and the Furious.
On Fast and Furious. Han Lee, played by Sung Kang.
Yeah, I think he's pretty chill. Just like he has kind of that vibe of it's kind of going with it type of thing. And
Sure.
I think Katsu feels very smooth, Lord of Wind shit, you know.
How do you feel about like a Bruce Lee type, or is that too high energy for
I think it's too high energy.
That's fair.
It's closer to like a like ninja type of thing than anything. Yeah, well, obviously, but
what about James Hong? I could just be thinking about everything everywhere all at once, but like I like James, like a younger James Hong.
That's not bad.
I googled famous Asian actors, and Tiger Woods is on this list. What the fuck? What the fuck?
What?
I mean, he's been acting like a golfer for the last few years, but
that's right.
I won't tolerate Tiger Woods slander on my timeline.
It's not a timeline; it's a podcast, fuckhead.
I won't tolerate it. You're fired.
Fair.
I can't fire people. I'll fire
people.
No, I actually really like. I know that I'm stuck in James Hong mode after that movie yesterday, but I actually really like James Hong.
Sure.
Like, if you want to approach Katsu as this older, like wiser mentor, you know?
I don't think he is. I think he's a character in a Kurosawa film. Kind of just rolling into town, going, well, this is fucked up. I guess we'll take care of this now. Type of thing. So I kind of see him more of like, it's relatable to spaghetti westerns, which are just literally cribbing Kurosawa films, so does Star Wars. But I think it's that. I think it's that kind of almost Ronin feel of just kind of tripping out and be like, all right, I guess.
If I have to deal with this, I will.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a good question, though. That's a fun one.
Yeah. Is that our next reoccurring question?
We could do all the sets.
Could.
Yeah.
We could see where we get. Yeah, because if we have another 6-question week, probably not. But this was a good stage.
That doesn't mean don't submit more questions.
Yeah, no. It mostly just means we have to fit time for all the good questions. Please start the question.
Yeah, most weeks we're not going to spend 7 minutes screaming at you about joining our fucking fantasy league, you pieces of shit.
Which if you don't, you fucking sacks of shit.
Dare not do it.
All right.
God.
Manual.
All right, and then our last is via email from Lewis, and it's okay. I'm gonna read it.
Big Lou.
I'm gonna read it. There's a lot here,
Big Lou.
so everybody bear with me. All right, dear Abby, Jordan, and Logan, I just want to start out to say I'm an absolute fan of the show, and all you three do. I got into Fab earlier this year and dived right into the content world. Your podcast was one of the first I listened to and has become one of my favorite shows to hear every week. Always
Quick
hilarious.
Note, love that. Thank you. I worry about SEO. Please
nail it. You're the best.
Yeah, love you already. Thank you so much. Always hilarious from people who understand the best things in life. Anyway, I have 2 questions for you. First, I was wondering the best way to create a community for a game at my local game store. They can only seem to get people in the door to play for ProQuest, but barely get 4 people to show up for any other type of event or just to play casually. I love the spirit and community of the game as well as the actual game itself. I want to share it with those around me. Do you want me to finish or do you want to answer question number 1?
I think these
I will finish.
Yeah, so
okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Now,
okay.
admittedly, I don't have much time to dedicate to this game in this season of life with wedding planning taking a lot of my time. But in my free time,
Congrats.
I'd love to get games in. I see the community you have in your area and how epic the realm is, and I would love to see it for myself. Second,
Let's do that first part first.
okay. Question
That
number
works.
one.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Okay.
I responded to Lewis on email already with my answer, and I can just give it to you and let you know.
Yeah. Let's do that.
What you think.
Let me riff on it.
Yeah. So I said, hey, I'm going to make sure this gets right on the show and see what Logan and Abby think. But I relate a lot to Lewis because I struggle with putting time into the game versus how much I want out of it. But the reality is that like local communities need people to invest in them to succeed. Some areas are really lucky to have that. Like here in Ohio, we have the Realm, we have Teague from Beyond the Board. We have a guy named Josh that runs another local stores armories down here at the convention center. But for areas that don't, like, you might have to be that guy, or somebody in your play group might have to be that guy. It might involve doing free labor for your local game store. Like, as I say this as a guy that hates capitalism and it would hate for you to have to do that. But it's all about what you want in life. Do you want a place to play your armory? Then you might have to like work out a deal with your local game store. I find that like local discords are really good for that. Even if like it's just you and your 4 guys that show up to that armory, like get in a Discord together. Hey guys, I'm going to go play tonight. Or who's coming with me? And who knows, they might not have been, but are now. Knowing that other people are going is an enticer to do things, right? Like the I'll go if you go is a very big paradox that would be very resolved if just someone pulled the trigger, right?
We live in America. That always happens.
That's right.
Wow. God damn. That is worse than my Flint joke, but we'll take it because it's true.
Abby actually went one level higher.
She sure did, didn't she? Holy shit. That's meta.
That is super meta.
No, yeah, I think local stores need a person, and unfortunately, like, and I get it. Like, it might not be you because life is busy. Congratulations on your wedding. It's got to be somebody, and like a lot of the time, local stores are busy just running the business and selling product. They don't have time to run events, so you kind of need somebody. That might just have to be you, or it might have to be somebody that like that might want to jump on the reins. And that's a tough thing to do because again, nobody likes working for free or spending time doing these things for free. But that's why also we love our community builders.
Yep. Really easy to echo those sentiments. I personally if I wouldn't have gotten into the local Discord when I started, I probably wouldn't have necessarily kept going. That was a huge up point for me, and it got me in. And I don't want this to sound as shilly as it's about to sound, but what got me all in is doing this show. I think that certain pieces of content resonate with certain people. And if you can find ways to point new people to that content that they want to share, it really accelerates growth. And Jordan's right. There needs to be a person that kind of takes the reins or wants to see that growth personally and is willing to make some form or fashion of personal investment. That has to happen at some point. Some places are very lucky, and that person is also a store employee. Like Teague is a good example, right? Teague wants to foster that growth. Keith is a madman.
Hates money. That's
hates money, but also wants to foster the growth. By the way, if you have not, please go to realmgamingnetwork.com and read the article posted there by the one and only Flake, Matt DeMarco. It's a very good read, and it does delve into community and community events quite a bit. So it's definitely worth a read. But at the end of the day, people have to find the axis they want to be involved on. So as an example, here in Des Moines, a lot of it was people showed up and just kind of peeked around when people were playing. So being visible mattered, right? And then that being visible made them go, maybe I want to try that. And then sit down and watch. And then they talk to us and then be like, hey, you should join our Discord. No pressure if you don't want to play or anything, but, just in case you want to know when events happen. And it's an organic conversation. And I think those are important. You can't really push it, but you have to be willing to invite people in a way that might not be as normal or as accepted as it was in other games. This is a very community oriented game, and it's very, I guess, grassroots in the way it grows. Talking from experience, I've been playing. This was actually pretty close to my 1-year anniversary of the first time playing, and when I started, it was a 6-person draft, and 2 of us were new, so they'd had 4 regulars. We now have, I think, 12 regulars that are always there, and we've fired armories of up to 18 people, and that's growth, and that growth came from people seeing or people hearing, and then they join the Discord, and then when they're in the Discord, then it's like, oh, we were talking about this over in the Flesh and Pod Discord. Then they hop into the Flesh and Pod Discord, and then suddenly like, oh, so there's this content, and they consume the content, and they're like, they hear us talking about armories that we go to, and they're like, oh, well, I want to go to that armory then, and then they come to the armory, and then they just get involved more, and then suddenly they're just part of it. They're a regular. They're one of the quote unquote locals, and that it has to be at least somewhat organic. And I know it's hard, and it's hard to find time, but try to find a way to work with a game store to schedule an armory that happens at the same time on the same day every week, and let people try to plan it and see if that growth can happen for you. I really hope it does, because when this community grows, it is actually special. I don't say that in like that kind of egregious Lisa Frank unicorn on a folder, you're special type shit. I mean, like literal, not corporate America special.
But also Lisa Frank thinks that you are special.
Also Lisa Frank thinks that you are special.
Right.
No, yeah, the one thing too is when you get those players in your store for your ProQuest, tell them about Armory Night. Like, tell them, hey, by the way, you guys come here once every month. They might live forever away, and it was never going to happen. But hey, on Thursday nights we have an armory. It's a rotating format, or it's a draft, or whatever the fuck it is.
I'm also really jealous of fucking ProQuests. I don't.
yeah, that's fair. But tell them about your store, and that's hard for me because I'm not like a salesman. I don't do self promotion very well. Horseshit. Okay, of the 3 people on this show, you are the goddamn salesman.
No, it's accurate. That doesn't mean you're not one.
Okay, that's fair. But I like to. I'm not that kind. I don't talk to my opponent about my fucking podcast, and you're much better at that than you.
Oh, I 100% do. Yeah, did that multiple times today.
Yeah, like I'll tell everybody till I'm black and blue in the face that like Logan Peterson's like marketing is the reason that our show ever took off.
It certainly wasn't me.
Yeah, like I have the logistics side down. Like I handle the flow of the show. Maybe we could do it behind the scenes sometime. That could be
fun,
for
the Patreon. Yeah,
for Patreons. Yeah. But like you sell this very well, and I think that's a large part of why this particular community is very big. Is you've plugged people to come to the Discord and do things, and so for Lewis, like, hey, if you're at your ProQuest or you're at your local store event, go, hey man, like you'd be really cool. You're a really good player. It'd be cool to see you at our armory. I think you can raise the level of our store. And like and now obviously that's a bunch of different things. Again, you personally might not have the time commitment for that or whatever, but I think you've got a good jumping off point of where to get started, and based off of this conversation, and ask in our Discord. People in our Discord are like ferocious community builders.
Yes,
like they move and they go to another store, and then Flesh and Blood is the biggest game there in like 2 days.
It's motherfucking
bananas.
But
like Sleepy Jackal is like another pillar stone of the FAP community, and like he is that in his local community, and like it's crazy. Please just listen to whatever that guy tells you to.
Yeah, no shit.
All right.
But our Discord's a good place to do that. Anyway, sorry, Ab.
And then second, the Baltimore SCG Con in August will have a Battle Hardened as well as a team competition. Do you have any plans to be there? If so, I'd love to meet you, get some games in, maybe go get crab cakes, some beers, and bread, because bread. Sorry if this email is long-winded, but y'all are the realest folk in the community, and anyone would be honored to know you. Hope to see y'all one day. Thanks again.
Wow.
The worst part about the email read was Abby pretending that her Mansfield stumbled over the word folk and y'all. And it was just the most unbelievable shit ever, where she's like, folk? Is that what that is?
To be fair, I have never been a y'all person, ever.
Well, I'm a y'all person. Yeah.
Never. I'm
more of a y'all person than you, and that's weird because I'm from the city.
Yes. No, y'all was never.
You're kind of a fucking bumpkin, though.
That's well, it's true. Yeah.
So I mean, first and foremost, Jesus, thank you. Like,
Yeah, it's very
shit.
kind. You said like 6 very nice things in like 3
Yeah,
paragraphs.
that you don't understand that the three of us are 3 people that do not take compliments well,
No.
and will immediately start like, well, did they actually mean that? And
Honest to God, I almost edited out the compliments and just put in the questions because I didn't want to deal with it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, that's us. I mean, we don't want that. And that, no, sorry,
Thank
that's
you.
wrong. It's that we want it. We are validation
Yes.
seeking people in one form or another.
Oh yeah, I'm a narcissist.
Oh yeah, you're a horrible narcissist. And but at that same point, we're all 3 very bad at accepting compliments. And so very from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. I don't even know when fucking Baltimore is.
The answer is no for us.
Isn't it the same weekend as Lille?
As Lil?
It actually is. It actually is. Yeah, because yes. So Keith was telling us about this. You're right, Abby. It is
August 19th through the 21st.
That's the weekend before.
Oh no, that is not.
That is the weekend before.
Okay. There is an event that weekend though that matters. That got added, but August 19th through the 21st, no, we will not be there.
No,
because August is a disaster month for Abby and I.
Yeah,
it's a pretty open month for me, but it's my only open. It's my first open month in.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's a bit self-explanatory at this point.
The Flesh and Blood calendar is not friendly to open weekends.
Sure isn't. Yeah, this flight's not that bad though. I fucking hate myself. God damn it! I'm gonna close this
close that
browser.
Tab. Close that tab. Yeah.
Not that I don't want to be there. I've been to Baltimore. I love hanging out in Baltimore.
I love Baltimore.
I love bread.
Oh my God, it's
I love
stunning.
beer. Like, you're really just hitting everything. I'm not.
The harbor is fantastic.
But oh god, the harbor's. Oh yeah. Give me the seafood boil instead of the crab cakes. But
6 hours. It's 6.5 hours.
I mean, it's 15 for me. So
I stayed in an Airbnb that was $40 a night in Baltimore once, and that was like the dream Airbnb.
Wow, really?
Not a great part of town. But like it was very, very cheap and a very good Airbnb for $40 a night.
So honestly though, I mean, it's 6 hours for you. You should really in Big Blue, I mean this in the most encouraging way possible. If you can make Labor Day weekend work to come to Columbus, the extended Fat family is planning on being there. We have a lot of the extended family, a lot of the content creator family, and every one of us to a person is addicted to having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So it just turns into that energy feeding the energy again, and it starts to replicate into this weird ball of a vibe, and then Elaine and Carolina show up, and all of a sudden, holy fuck. But that's a different story for a different time, and also for patrons. So that's a joke, everybody, but ish.
Yeah. Jordan, when writing the script for Patreon, no content will be locked behind Patreon. Logan, this story is for Patreon only.
No, we said the show wouldn't be. But point being that honestly, we would love to hang out, spend time with all of our listeners wherever we are going to be. The next one's going to be Columbus. The one after that's probably going to be Charlotte. That we're all going to be kind of present and accounted for. I know Abby and Jordan are probably not doing San Jose. I plan on being there mainly because of a lot of the overseas extended family. And I do see you all's family. But the overseas extended family, a lot of them are planning on being there. And I would love to spend time with them too, because I haven't met them in person and spent time with them. So, and I already had plans to be in Vegas right around then. So I can just stay that week in Vegas and then fly to San Jose for like $45. So, we're going to be out and about. Sadly, not Baltimore. But if you can make it to any of those events I mentioned or anything else, just kind of let us know. And also, there are other of the Flesh and Pod community and also the extended community of content creators that will be there. There's a bunch of Yinzers in our Discord.
Yeah.
And so
perfect.
And so just hit them up too, because they'll probably be there. And honestly, like from the bottom of my heart, at the very least, thank you for the kind words. They are appreciated.
Yes.
You guys, you our crew, our team, our family, what is there's a word for this, and if Melody
we don't need
listens
any
to
more
this,
thesauruses for
well, I want the Maori part of it, but I'm not Melody, so I don't have that.
what's Ohana? Ohana means family.
That's
and-
not Maori. That's not Maori at all.
No, it's not, but it's Lilo and Stitch.
That's right.
It's also a hibachi joint here in Des Moines. It's really
Even
good.
better.
It's really
Is
good.
it like the Olive Garden of hibachi when you're here, your family?
No, it's the good of hibachi. Olive Garden is the good of fucking nothing. So
listen,
Okay,
they have a really good soup, salad, and breadstick deal. Like, you could slander the main entrees at Olive Garden all you want. Their chicken gnocchi and breadsticks are phenom.
they are literally a cut rate Biaggi's.
I don't know what that is.
Listen, that's fine.
It's
I don't know what
not.
that is.
I have a
That's
Biaggi's
fine.
here. What the fuck?
I
Do I
For
still
need to call it
$9.90
that?
for $9.99, I
what
can
that
eat
is.
my weight, which is 362.4 pounds as of today.
You're down a
And
bit.
chicken, yeah, we're
Nice.
pretty close to our lowest of the past 2 years. Yeah, I could eat that much chicken gnocchi and that much salad with too much Italian dressing for $9.99. Dude, lock me in.
Yep.
I'm not fancy, baby.
I'm not
I'm from
fancy.
Ohio.
That's
We
right.
have some Sugar Shack, babe. It's fine.
Whoa. We don't.
All
Sure,
right.
Anyway,
huh?
look at all the attention you get when you send emails. You get
Yes.
like a deep
You get a
dive.
ton.
Exactly.
You give us a
So-
book, and we give you a book in return.
That's right. Thank
Yeah,
you very
send
much
me
for
an
that.
email.
Those little lending libraries outside of people's houses. Leave a book, take a
Oh,
book.
yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely appreciate it. So thank you very much. All right. So let's do our executive producer and up shout out. So if you are in our Patreon and you are an executive producer or higher, so we want to give a shout out to Ed M, Josh L, Kenny, Nick D, Ricky, Teague W, Ben M, Corey S, Alan B, and Michael B. If you have a problem with the way I said that, you can just hold it in this week because we don't need to do it. If you are interested in pledging to our Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/flushandpod. We have 4 levels that you can take a look at. As always, you can find us on Twitter at FlushPod. You can join our Discord. The link will be in the show notes. You can give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. You can shoot us an email at flushandpod@gmail.com. My personal Twitter is at AbbyD83. My tweet streak has continued.
Woo.
I know. Logan, have you been on Twitter in the last hour and 45 minutes?
Hour 45. No.
That
Did you
explains it.
fucking possum me?
Yeah, for sure.
God
For sure.
fucking damn it.
1000%.
This one is actually adorable shit, to be
It
honest.
is adorable. Also, Jordan and I had pizza for lunch, so it makes it even better. Because that would have been me if I was a possum.
Emmanuel? Sorry.
But yeah, the Twitter streak continues. If you love possums or Formula One or football, once we get there,
Foosball.
by all means, I will be tweeting at least once a week.
Once a week, you get the one.
That's right.
Outside of
Logan?
office hours only.
Yes.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at Logan Peterson. I am tweeting about basically Flesh and Blood and then also deriding possums and pickles. Although I love pickles, just not as a primary source of fucking nutrition.
Oh my god. Did you know that there's like a massive, it's like it's in Pittsburgh and it's like Picklesburg Festival or something. They do it once a year. It's a massive thing. I saw it on Twitter and I was very disappointed.
You know who to send that to.
Logan and I are not your guys.
Picklesburg is what it's called.
Yeah.
Tell that to the lady from Louisiana.
Yeah, that one. I'm sure she'll be more than happy to go get Picklesburged up. I don't know how that even works, but there are, talking about fappers in Picklesburg has a real weird connotation, so I'm just not even going to go to that.
Yeah,
I don't even think that's a good thing to do.
It's a safe thing to do. Stop you.
No, I don't. Okay, fine. We have a bunch of fappers in Picklesburg, and they'd probably be more than happy to help you with your pickle needs. Any rate,
don't love it.
Nope, don't love it. Sin Jeffo, sorry. But yes, you can find me on Twitter at Logan Peterson, tweeting mostly Flesh and Blood, and then deriding possums. Best way to get a hold of me is on Discord. As always, I am in the Flesh and Blood Discord, or Flesh and Pod Discord. I am in the Fresh and Buds Discord. I'm in the Instant Speed Discord. Very easy to find, and DMs are open to anybody that shares a server with me. So come on in, say hi. More than happy to talk. More than happy to bullshit. More than happy to share drinks and food pics. Did you see that chicken parm I made?
Yes,
It looked very good.
Oh fuck, man! Like that was baller as hell. And then person I was supposed to eat it didn't even show up. So then I just invited somebody else and they came and ate it. So, you know me, I'm not going to let food go to waste like that. We're going to find somebody else that'll enjoy it. Awesome. Jordan, what about you?
Yeah, you find me on Twitter at I'mJerman, tweeting a lot of sports right now, a lot of Flesh and Blood as well. There's a big month of Flesh and Blood coming up with the Pro Tour. I'm sure I'll be tweeting a lot about that. But right now it is a lot of baseball, a lot of golf is going on because the Open just happened. Also arguing Doctor Who power rankings for various things with. Are you a Doctor Who guy, Logan?
No, I am not. I have watched all the way through Capaldi, and in the Doctor after that, Jodie Whittaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and still have not enjoyed it at all.
You've watched through Whittaker?
I'm in Whittaker.
Okay, so you've watched most of it. Okay, that's interesting for a person that's not liking it. That's
correct.
That's
my wife insists on it, and my options are watch this or like the 100, which is garbage, or other things like Glee, which is total shit. Like,
yeah, I get Glee out of here.
So my options are very limited. I can either suffer somewhat or suffer completely.
Now, do you have a favorite Doctor, even though you don't love the show?
No. Well, if I was going to pick one, it'd probably just be Eccleston.
Okay.
The manic nature's kind of fun, but outside of that, it's nothing. So it's just worse Star Trek: The Next Generation. So
wow, incorrect, but
I don't like it, and
that's fair. You don't have to like it. That's fair.
I'll describe to you after we're done recording how Who fans have approached me, because it is somewhat offensive, but.
Oh, sure. So that's the worst part about, like, I love Rick and Morty, but the people that love Rick and Morty are the fucking worst. Like, they're the goddamn worst. So, like, I totally get hating. Like, I don't tell people in public that I like Rick and Morty.
You just did.
Like, well, yeah, but like, if anybody comes up to me at a tournament and is like, "Oh, I heard you like Rick and Morty," I'd be like, "No, I was lying." Get the fuck away from me, weirdo.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah. we don't hawk tricky shit in here. Anyway, that's a good Flyboys reference. Yeah, that's it for me. Tweeting a lot of stuff. If you like variety, I'm your guy over there, particularly if you like sports, F1, baseball. That's me.
That's all I got.
There we go.
I'd like to
All right. Please join the Discord if you're not already in there, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.